Now for a look at the day's business stories, and we're going to head to Shanghai, where electric vehicle maker Tesla has signed a deal to build a new factory in the Chinese city, but it won't be producing electric cars. Charles Pellegrin, our business editor, is here with more. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Erin. That's right. This factory will be producing what Tesla calls Megapacks. They're large-scale energy storage units that help stabilize electricity grids. For instance, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk has said that he wants to make storage parts of his business as important as his electric vehicle making business. Well, this is a growing sector, with the International Energy Agency saying storage capacity will grow from 19.3 gigawatt hour in late 2020 to almost 150 gigawatt hour by 2026. The plant will be Tesla's second in China after the electric vehicle factory built in 2019, in spite of increased pressure from Washington on U.S. companies to divest from Beijing over national security and supply chain concerns. And despite Tesla also having run-ins with authorities in China as well, its cars have been banned in some official areas over cybersecurity issues, for instance. Nonetheless, Tesla makes about a quarter of its revenue in the country, and local officials speaking to state media on Sunday were pleased with the opportunities presented by the new plant.
The construction should start in July and begin operating in the second quarter of next year. The landing of such a super factory can help Lingang and in fact Shanghai quickly form an energy storage industry cluster. So we're confident that in the next 2 or 3 years we will cooperate with Tesla to create a new industrial cluster of 13 billion euros in Lingang.
And in the U.S., over the weekend, it was reported the Environmental Protection Agency is working on new, stricter rules on auto pollution limits that would accelerate the increase of electric vehicles on the road there. Electric cars represented just under 6% of all cars sold last year in the United States. And the new rules would also go further than the objective set by Joe Biden in 2021 of having at least half of all cars sold in 2030 be electric. The New York Times reports the new rules have been set up in order to achieve the goal of achieving at least 54% of all new cars sold in 2030 to be electric, and for that figure to be of at least 64% 2 years later in 2032. American EV makers, though, are concerned this will be difficult to achieve as they are facing many supply chain issues. Let's take a look at how the markets are faring this hour. Stocks mostly ending the session in positive territory in Asia, except for the Shanghai Composite, down by 1/3% as a return after investors return after the long Easter weekend. The Kospi and Seoul leading the gains, up over 0.8%, and the Hang Seng is closed today for Easter Monday. Now, India is on the brink of surpassing China and becoming the world's most populous country. It's one of the world's fastest growing economies, but the number of women in its workforce has been declining for years and is among the 20 lowest in the world. Liza Kaminoff has more.
Sheila Singh quit her social worker job in 2020. She was one of 39 million women employed in India, compared to 361 million men. Despite resisting social stigma for years, she resigned and moved back to the village, defeated by the cost of living in Mumbai.
There was pressure that I wasn't looking after my kids and other things. I also felt that there's no value for me when working. Then I decided what happens, so I resigned and left.
Though some women are affected by a jobs crisis, most are unemployed because they stay trapped at home, taking care of the family to fulfill social expectations.
One of the reasons women had to leave even the scarce, rare employment opportunities that women have because of their caregiving role. So Indian women's workforce participation contributes to less than 20% of India's GDP.
Historic reforms in the 90s led to new work opportunities in India's cities. Millions, including women, left their villages for a better future. In 2004, the women's employment rate had peaked at 35%, but by 2022 it had dropped down to 25%. Yet social pressures continue to force women to quit their jobs and discourage others from entering the workforce. Experts estimate that by increasing its female workforce by just 10%, India could add another $552 billion to its GDP.
And we're about a month away from the beginning of the annual Eurovision Song Contest, which means many fans are obviously increasingly excited, but many unscrupulous Airbnb hosts are also increasingly seeing opportunities to turn a profit. The contest is in Liverpool this year in the UK, and the holiday rental platform has had to warn hosts there not to increase rates on existing reservation for the period around May 9th to May 13th when the contest is happening. One guest quoted by the BBC says his host tried to increase the rate from about £460, that's about 300 euros, to over 2,000 pounds, just under 2,300 euros, when he found out that the guest was coming for the Eurovision Song Contest. Aaron, Liverpool is expecting an extra 150,000 visitors during Eurovision, so many opportunities for people to make a buck on their back.
And just a small portion of, I imagine, what we can expect in Paris in 2024 ahead of the Olympics, which we, of course, will be keeping an eye on. Charles Pellegrin, thank you.